Hi and welcome to my Playhouse, and today we're gonna continue upgrading this awesome Lenovo X3650 Model 5. And I have a box on the table behind me, and I think just for fun and giggles we should see what's in the box. Okay, so this box came from the United States, something called Green Tech Solutions in Houston. Cool. It was here pretty fast. I could see on the ordering thing that I ordered this the 4th of May, and it has been sitting here for a couple of days, so it was like 14 days to get here, which is pretty awesome from the US. That's about how long that takes. It was, let's see what's in here. It's a rather big box, but we have a bracket here and nothing else. That's because I just wanted to make a joke. This very, very big box had this bracket and this network card here. They could have definitely have fit in something smaller. I'm pretty sure it could have fitted in that one, or maybe a box like this one. It will probably fit there really well, because this box originally had a 10 gig network card, so it would kind of be the same thing. So I think they overdid the box a little bit. I ordered a network card for my awesome Lenovo X3650, and it comes with sealed anti-static device, blah blah blah. So we're gonna open that together. Oh, they made that hard. And this is the mezzanine card for the Lenovo X3650 Model 5. See how this is not a normal PCI card? We could kind of look at it together with this Hewlett-Packard card, and there is a clear difference there. This card is not gonna fit in that slot, and this card is not gonna fit in the slot for this one. So yeah, I got this especially for that server, so that we could see and have a look at this. This is a Broadcom card, and if I look at the paperwork, it helps me what this actually was that I ordered. It's an IBM 94Y5230, but I ordered it as a 00D2028, and these model numbers, they're kind of different model numbers for different servers. This one is for the Lenovo, and this one is for the IBM. So this server was made at a point where both IBM and Lenovo was making the server. So there are model numbers for IBM and there are model numbers for Lenovo, which is kind of weird. Down here is the IBM model number, and on the other side I found that up here is the Lenovo model number. So very interesting. So this being a Broadcom network card, it's a dual port 10 gigabit network card, and it has the ability of NPAR, which I did a video on it's probably half a year ago. And NPAR is the ability of virtualized network connections. It means that each of these physical connections that comes out here can be virtualized on the machine in the card here, and the server will see it as if there's 8 10 gigabit network connections coming out of this network card that way, but 2 coming out. So it's more or less, it has a built-in switch. If we look at it that way, we have 2 connections out and it switches that, and we get more ports inside. If that's smart, well, it really depends on what you want to do with your card. If you just need one internet connection coming in to one internet connection on the operating system, well, you don't need that. If you want one connection coming in and you want different VLANs and those to be separated on the network card level, that might be very good. And I bought it because of this, because I think it's very cool to have that, and the operating system will see it as if you have, well, each of these will deliver 4 network cards to the server. I don't need that many. I'm probably just gonna use one port and then have 4 10 gigabit network connections available on the operating system. Of course, when you have 4 virtual 10 gigabit Ethernet connections, they will not be able to use 10 gigabit each of them. They will only be able to use maximum of 10 gigabit. They are probably not going to be doing that at the same time. So it's exactly like a switch. You could also easily have 48 ports in your switch and a couple of uplink ports to your next switch, and this will do about the same thing but on the server level. So yeah, I think we should put this in. Otherwise I wouldn't have gotten it, would I? I'm a little bit curious about this bracket though. I am not sure which server this will fit in, but yeah, it comes with it. I have powered down my Proxmox server here. It's blinking, so I will be able to go around the back and disconnect it, and we will open it up. I just wanted to show you, this is the M5 and beneath it is the M4. You can see that right there. And when we go around the servers, it's a tight fit, but here we can see this is the M5 and beneath it is the M4, and there is 2 10 gigabit Ethernet ports coming out of that, and that's actually the mezzanine card in the M4, and that's kind of located on the system board, whereas the mezzanine card on the M5 is located in this riser in the bottom connector over there. So we have to disconnect this. It was powered down, so we're gonna remove power, remove the cables. Boy, I have removed those a bunch of times. I think I have a bird in the loft. And there is bird sounds from up there. So not many videos ago I did a video on this riser card that we got for this, and I also did a video on this graphics card that we have passed through to the operating system, to Proxmox, and onto a virtual machine in Proxmox. So that's what's sitting here, and we have a normal PCI port down here for this card that sits up like this. It's upright, I guess, and then we got this riser card here, which has the ML2 connector, and this stands for mezzanine LOM, and it's 2 because it's the second generation of mezzanine cards. And so we're gonna put our little network card in there, and it looks like it will fit very well. So we might as well do the thumbnail now we're at it. Okay, these connectors, they don't really work that well. I don't like them that much. They're too hard to get off. Gladly I don't have to do this too often, but well, I do it more often than normal. So let's do that thumbnail. See if we can get a good one with that card in there. Yeah, that ought to be good enough. So let's pop that in there, and fits very well. Awesome. Looks like that. I think I said in the last video that these mezzanine cards often are very cheap. That's not always the case. I was lucky to find this at a decent price, but at the last video, when I wanted to add a card like this into the description, I had a lot of problems finding a mezzanine card like it for a decent price. I think I paid, I don't really have to think anything. I can actually just look at the paper what I paid. I paid $54 for this. Then there was shipping and handling, and then there was import charges. So it was $54 in the price of the device, $17.75 for shipping and handling, and import charges $15.63. So I paid for it, but it was cheaper from the US than anything that I could get in Europe at the at the time, so guess I will just have to be happy and don't complain. Mounted. I will close up the server and we will go and see if this is recognized. So already I am out of PCI slots. The first CPU is installed here, which makes me able to use this first riser card and this first slot here. There is also the slot for the RAID controller on the system board, but I am out of available slots before I put in the second CPU. Out of options right now. I wonder if you have friends like me. So I bought these back cables here for my 10 gigabit switch up here. I bought a selection of different lengths. Didn't buy too many because they were bloody expensive. And then my good friend, I'm not gonna name his name, well, that would be a shame for Jim to have that embarrassment, but he came by and borrowed a couple of my cables, the last two that was available. So now I have this cable that is a meter too long. That's the only one available to put in the server. So Jim, if you at some point are done using my cables, could you please return them? I need a shorter one, thank you. And that goes that way apparently. There, and it blinks. Yeah, if anyone is wondering, I have this Ubiquiti switch 16XG up here. It's a 16 port 10 gigabit Ethernet switch. It has 12 ports of SFP pluses and it has 4 ports of RJ45 connection, and I mainly use duct cables in that one. So yeah. There is a bird's nest somewhere up there. That's a problem. So we've moved in here to the computer where I have Proxmox up and running again after I plugged in all the cables and powered on the server. So does Proxmox see our new network card? Let's check it out. Here we have Proxmox, the Datacenter and the host, or the node as it's called here, and the virtual machine running on there. Or the one that is currently on the node, and there is something called network. That would be an awesome place to put that. And we see all the network cards. We have 4 network ports here, which is kind of the built-in ones. Then we have another one which I'm not sure which is or what is. This is really lacking information. I know that the server out there, it has 4 network cards on the system board, and it should also have some USB thingy, but if that's it, yeah, there would be room for more information over here. But it also has 2 network cards down here, which I'm guessing could be the 2 10 gigabit ports now available. And then there is the bridge, a Linux bridge, which is using this network card and making some IP stuff there. So yeah, Proxmox, you kind of have some work here. This is shit. But I also have the IMM on the server, the integrated management module, which will tell me stuff like this. They could also have put a network button down here. That would have been nice of them. But to go check it out, we need to go into server management and adapters. It's an adapter. Here we get the different adapters that is in the server. First we have the onboard, and we can see we have Broadcom. We have the 4 onboard network cards. Ethernet, 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 onboard. Thank you very much. Then we have a GPU, and it says GPU down here as well. So I think this is the onboard GPU. Don't think it tells me that very loud and clear out there. And then we have another GPU there, and that's a PCI Express Generation 3 X16. That was the one we passed through last time. Awesome. Then we have an adapter here, which it doesn't say what is exactly like it doesn't say up here what that is, but beneath that it says Ethernet Ethernet, so that's kind of, I gather that that must be the 10 gigabit Ethernet. And the last one we have a SAS adapter, and that is in the last port, which is on the system board, PCI Express, and that's the server rate M5210. Awesome. But let's check this adapter here. There is a main adapter and there's like 2 connectors. So, but what I found is it seems to be the same thing we get. We get this list of things. First we get some hardware information. Most of this is totally useless. All of these codes, why? That's just unnecessary. Why do I need to know 0x14E4? Really? But yeah, we get that. We get some more useless codes, but we also get this configuration thingy here where we can configure a lot, and the slide is long, and I was looking at this thinking, holy fuck, there's a lot to configure on that network card if you just scroll down here. But after scrolling down for a little bit, I saw that there's a code up here, a function 010000. So if we go further down, we get another one. There, function 010001. And the rest of it, that was the last one. So if we go back here, we can see that this is 01000 and this is 010001. When we go in here, we get the possibility of configuring both the network connections. That's under configuration. And we get the same if we go into each of these. So it's the same menu. So that cheated me for a little bit. Even though I pressed number 2, I get number 1 up here to start with, and further down that's about halfway down there is port number 2. But I have connected port number 1 to my switch, and I want to enable this virtualization mode, which it brags about here. And I can do that from in here, which is kind of awesome. So we can pull this down, and there is this NPAR, which is the one that I want. Then there is SR-IOV, and that is used to offload network workloads from the CPU to the network card. So the network card can do some of the work and offload the CPU. So, well, the CPU doesn't have to worry about stuff. The network card can do some of that. I haven't tried that, and I'm not sure if Proxmox does that. I know that VMware does that, but I'm not sure if Proxmox does it yet. So we're just gonna select this NPAR, which will enable us to have 4 network cards instead of 1. So there is that. And I need to see if I need to do anything else. There is some settings for that. And I am not sure where we would ever configure that. Many of the settings here has to do with iSCSI. You can kind of configure this network card to be an iSCSI HBA, which means that the network card will connect to a storage device, and instead of a network connection, you will actually get a storage area available, which is kind of cool. And you kind of tell it in here the IP number of your storage device. I could configure this, and it would be able to attach to my iSCSI LON over at my Synology box. Might be a fun project at some point. So, but a lot of this is iSCSI stuff. Then there is some firmware stuff. Then there is device hardware configuration. Have no idea. And then there is NIC partition configuration. There's some stuff. Oh, there's nothing. Full control. Okay. So that's where I can configure those 4 virtual NICs that I'm gonna get when I do this. Awesome. And yeah, there is some bandwidth restrictions and minimum and maximum you can set. It's kind of it's kind of sophisticated, and I'm gonna leave it be because I think that's kind of the best way to configure this. But you can go in and tell it that, well, it has to reserve some bandwidth for this option, and maybe let's say that one of these network cards is a heartbeat. It really don't need to have 10 gigabit connection available for it, so we could kind of tell it that don't go over 10 megabits, and then the speed would be available for the other network cards. Not that I think that is necessary, but yeah, there is some options for configuring some minimum and maximum and so on. It's in percentage, and you have to, if you set one of them, you have to set all of them, and if you don't set any of them, well, you're good to go. So we're gonna save, and we're gonna see what Proxmox says. I'm not sure if Proxmox has to reboot before it says something here. Changes setting has been saved. System restart is required to make this change effective. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be rebooting to try this. So we might just go over here to Proxmox, shut down my virtual machine. Yes, and I'll shut down the host or the node when all of this is done, and we will see if Proxmox gets some more nicks. This is what it looked like. We have an ENS3F0 and an ENS3F1, and I'm guessing that we will be getting some more much like it. So over on the IMM, we can see that the system is powered off. So server is off. I found another interesting thing. If we go down to power management, and we see the power history. So over here is before I inserted that network card, and we are using, we can check tables here. We can see that in average we were using just under 100 watts for that server. About 98 watts was average. We had some that was maximum higher, and we had some that was a little bit lower, but very close to 98 watts. And then we put in that network card down here, and the wattage got up. So something around 103 watts instead, peaking at about 108, 9. Oh, that's probably when it was booting. It's not accurate to check that, but it gained about 5 watts putting in that network card, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of power to gain. I actually found on Lenovo's homepage that I could expect this network card to eat up, I think it said about 14 or 17 watts, which was a lot. I think it has been off for long enough, so let's go back here and try and turn it on again. There, we can go to power action, and we can turn on the server immediately. We will do that. Yes. Server is powered on. Thank you. Okay, it's back up and running. So let's see. Let's go to networks. And nothing happened. How rude. What happened over here then? Let's check the adapters if it has saved that. Configuration. It didn't do anything. Parnic. Save. Saving changes. It has saved changes. It needs to reboot. Okay. Okay, we are back in the data center because I've been trying a couple of times through the IMM to set this NPAR or NPAR, and yeah, it just ignores me. It says that I have to reboot it, and when I reboot it, well, it has just reset it back again. So now I'm gonna try and go into the BIOS and see if I can set it that way. Okay, we got into the BIOS. So let's see, system settings, network, and we got some iSCSI configuration, network boot configuration. We got 2 mysterious network connections right there. We have the 4 probably built-in network connections. So let's take the top one of those mysterious ones there, and it looks like we have a Broadcom NetXtreme 2 10 Gb Ethernet card, and it's based on the BCM57810 chipset. So let's go in there, and down here we can set that virtualization, which it keeps ignoring on me. So let's try that there, and when we did that we get other options like this NIC partitioning configuration menu. Yeah, here we got the 4 virtual NICs that we can then go and configure, and we can go and set some quality of service on that. Maybe not exactly here, I forget where we set that, but global bandwidth allocation menu maybe. Yeah, that's the same menu as we saw on the IMM, and we can go here and configure some quality of service. We're not gonna do that. I just want to pass through the 4 NICs to the operating system, and that is set there. So do we have to save this somewhere, or does it actually find out about that itself? Let's see, escape, 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 escape. And let's go save settings, enter, and let's go escape again, and yes, and enter to reboot now. So let's see if this works for me. Okay, so we're up and running again. Let's see the IMM. We got some adapters. And we go into the first. Let's check the second one. And configuration. And it's still on NPAR for that adapter. And it also is on NPAR for the second. I really don't remember setting that. And that's because I did not, which is weird, but I did check this. So if we go over here and check network, we got a lot more of these network cards here. We got all of, there's 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, we got our virtual network cards for whatever I'm gonna be using those for. One of them can be like network and iSCSI, replication, yeah, whatever. I really only wanted 4, and I was probably not gonna be using all 4. So yeah, this is totally overkill. But now that it's finally there, I'm not gonna mess anymore with it. I don't think it matters if I have 8 not in use devices compared to just 4. So that was this Broadcom network card that we installed. The mezzanine card for the Lenovo server. These mezzanine cards, they are kind of called different stuff in different brands of server. In the Hewlett-Packard ones, it's called FlexLum boards, and apparently in the Lenovo they also kind of call it a LUM card, and that's why the slot for the network card is called the ML2, because this is mezzanine LUM generation 2 card that goes in there. I have to thank my patrons for this card. I used Patreon money to get that, and it's very awesome to have this group of people that support me that way, so that I can buy this hardware that is never gonna make itself. Like this is $84, wasn't it about $84? $87.38. That would that means that this video will need over 40,000 views to make this card in. So thank you very much to my patrons for sponsoring that card, because otherwise I would be at a loss. So yeah, we are up and running with the server, and I should be able to separate out my iSCSI and my network, and that's gonna be awesome. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.